All right, everybody, let's talk about the new algorithm I just put out. This is the Desumo algorithm. Now, you should have gotten access to it. All you have to do, go up to indicators, and then you'll just type in TUE Desumo, and it'll pop right up. It's under the invite-only scripts. You can also find it there, or just search for it. Click it, add it to the chart. Okay, now right off the bat, you're going to notice that this strategy backtester down here looks terrible, and that's fine. Don't worry about that. It's supposed to look like that. What you need to do is change your charts over to Renkos. It's because we're not using normal candles in this. This is an algorithm designed specifically for Renko. So you'll click the Renko. There it goes. Now, I really recommend that you take some time and look into Renko and how it's calculated so that you understand this. Essentially, each one of these boxes is a particular amount of movement in the underlying. It doesn't care about time frame. So each of these boxes could last a minute. It could last 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. It'll sit there as long as it needs to sit there. The box only forms when price has moved. It's a more, I guess, a more pure way of looking at pricing in the markets, and a lot of traders use it, and I'm going to be using it for this algorithm. Now, you might be wondering, well, does that cause any problems between the execution time of the candle and the actual pricing? And there's a lot of people that will say that, but it's simply not accurate. And I'll show that to you right now. So we'll drop this to the 1 minute time frame. We always want to have the Renko here on 1 minute. And that is because it the way TradingView updates, it'll update according to that time frame. So what that means is every 1 minute it will go and it will grab the price, and it will use that to form a new candle. So you can see we're forming a couple of candles here at the end. It has not finished the 1 minute yet, so it hasn't formed a candle yet. Now, you can actually lower this down to the 1 second time frame if you'd like and use it like that. I think it's too noisy though. The 1 minute seems to be just about right. Now, let me show you what I mean about time and pricing, just so that we can address this right up front. So right here, the last time we entered a trade was right here on this candle. This candle started about 9:08. You'll see there's a couple of candles at 9:08, and that's because 9:08 had a lot of movement. 9:08, the entry on this candle was, let's see here, about 14,844. Now it's going to be pretty close. It's not exact, but it's because there's multiple candles that get formed in that time frame, but it's going to be pretty close. So that's 14,844 at 9:08. 844 at 9:08. So let's switch back over here. We'll look 9:08, and our closing price was 850 as compared to 844. So it was a slightly higher pricing, but it's very close. It's very close. And when you're talking about trades that last as long as these do, so come here and look, for example, we're still long. It entered at 850. Look at what we're at right now. We're at 900 right now. So looking at 4 points over a 50-point move is just, it doesn't matter. When you get kind of like these smaller ones like this, it can mess with the back testing a little bit, obviously, but it's still very close. In all of my testing, it's very, very close. So let's talk a little bit more about the back testing, because you're going to see down here, this looks a little weird, right? So this back testing down here is another one of the idiosyncrasies with TradingView, and we want to get a really good look at what this is actually doing, right? And you'll notice we're kind of flatter here, but we're looking really good down here, and that's because this movement up here is accurate. This movement down here is not. It's much more generic, and looks fantastic. I'd like to say it actually does that, but it doesn't. So let's look at the list of trades, and you're going to see here what I mean. So look at the times. See, they're all individual minutes, right? Like 8:33, 8:50, 8:19. This is Mountain Standard Time, by the way. So we go back here, and you go back about 3 weeks. Let's see here. Today's September 25th. Back to September 4th, which is where it should be. Okay, now you see right here how the times have changed. They were all exactly on the hour, and that is because TradingView runs out of 1 minute data going that far back. Now you can change it to 3 minute, and I'm going to show you that in a sec, and you can actually backtest 6 months worth. But for right now, we're just going to look at this. So you'll see we start to have our good data coming in here on the 4th. So we're going to change this to work just from the 4th. And let's go down here. We'll hit restrict times for backtesting. Now remember, only turn this on if you're backtesting. Otherwise, it'll kind of mess you up. As in, it won't trade. So make sure it's right. Okay, right there. So now we've got our backtest actually looking over the last month. Now this is with real numbers. The times are very, very accurate right here. Let's go back in here and we'll look at our settings. We've got one contract on MNQ. We pyramid once. So sometimes you'll see, oops, actually change this to the 25th so you can see it through today. There we go. So you can, the pyramiding right here, this is 2. That's because we do occasionally add a contract in. And then on bar close, you can turn this off if you want. It will make it so that it enters on the next bar over. It makes these results look a little bit better, but personally, I would rather enter sooner. So I leave this on for actually live trading because it'll send the signal just slightly faster, which is what I want. The bar magnifier has no effect in Renko charts, so it doesn't matter. Fill orders with standard OHLC has no effect in Renko charts. It's for hike and hashies. Then you can put your commission in here. See, this is MNQ, so $1.30, I think. Not mistaken. There we go. Okay, so still looking pretty good. Let's go over here. Now what we'll do, I'm going to show you what all these buttons do. Don't worry about it. One thing I want to show you real quick, though. This is, again, with the 1 minute time frame, so we're getting data every 1 minute. It's updating these candles. If we change it to 3 minute, it's not going to change the backtesting a whole lot. So check it out. Okay, so we changed it right there. In fact, the numbers actually look better. But you'll see it's more or less the same curve. Let me go back. Now watch the curve as I change it. It's more or less the same curve. We have the same bumps in the same places. See that? The same bumps all come in the same places, which is kind of what we want to look for. And now that we're on 3 minute data, we actually get 6 months worth of backtesting. Oops. We go back to March. There we go. March, that work. I think it's like March 6th or something, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Anyway, you can see here, this is over a much longer time frame using that 3 minute chart, which didn't change a whole lot, and it still looks pretty good on the back testing. But for the purposes of this, we're going to be using 1 month because 1 month just gives us that 1 minute time frame, and we get the most accurate look at the back testing. Whenever you're testing this kind of stuff on Renko charts, you need to be as systematic with that as you can possibly be. You have to go back and look at it again and again. I've looked at these candles left, right, and sideways for many days, and they're all pretty dang close on the pricing. And then I've also been automating it into my account. I've been using my commercial software over at GetTradeConnect.com. It's GetTradeConnect.com, and it automates very closely to what the actual fills are on here. So let's take this, and I'm actually going to move this to the front. There we go. And that's going to put our coloring in effect here. So now you can see green when we're in a long position and red when we're in a short position. Just makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so now that I've addressed the backtesting issues right up front, let's get into what Desumo actually does. Now, it has 2 modes. The first one you can see, this is the regular mode, is that it's always in the markets. Let me turn this off so it's a little easier to tell. There we go. Okay, so you can see, always in the markets. We're short here. We reverse go long, reverse go short, reverse go long, and we make money over time because we catch these big moves. Sometimes we get chopped up in the little ones. You can see here this long lost, but this short won a little bit. See it closed here from opening there. This long lost a little, the short lost a little, but then this long had a huge win. And that's how Desumo makes money. You'll notice the percent profitable is usually kind of low with this, but the thing is that it catches all of the big moves. Like this right here, this huge move from, let's see, this was this morning around London Open, dropped from 14,918 and we closed at nearly 100 points lower. See, that's the thing. It catches these huge moves. It caught the huge move during FOMC last week as well. It catches every single move because it's always in the markets. So yes, chopping back and forth, it's going to lose on them. Best case scenario, it's going to break even like this right here, it broke even on. Or it'll take small wins like this, or it'll just lose like this one. But it catches all of the big moves. So over time, it makes money. That's how Desumo works. And you can see that as you look through here. Now that's the full version. Okay, we're going to go through Desumo Min in just a minute, but let's explore a few other things with the full version. I should say the full mode. There's not two versions of this, it's just the full mode. And right here is the button to enable Desumo Min, and I will show you in a minute what that does. But for right now, Desumo Full, which we're looking at, we got a few options. Number one, we can enable an ad. So we click that, and you'll see it's going to add in. It's like example right here. You can see it added in to the short and went down here and closed it. So we got a little extra money. Whenever it gets a little bit of a pullback is when it'll add in generally. It's not always perfect, of course, but no algorithm is. Let's see. So right here, see we went short, and then see like we were kind of sideways for a little while, and then it decided to add in as it kept going down, and it hit it really well right here. So we caught these extra points right there. That's generally what it's doing when it adds in. You can see over here we went long, just kind of went sideways, and then it started to take off, and it's like, okay, add into this, and it caught a really nice trade there. Now, there's another option with ads. Let me show you this. Enable ad take profits. Click that. Now, at some points, so you're going to see, let's look at that one that we were just looking at. It's going to actually close the ad for a profit. And you see right here, it's long right here, and then we add in a contract, and then it takes the profit right there. So that's what it's doing during the trade. And that's a little closer to what Desumo Min does. And like I say, we'll get to it in just a sec. But this does have that take profit mode. And as you can see, let's look at the chart there real quick. So we'll say 4,700 right here, 1.8 profit factors. We'll turn that off. That profit factor jumps to over 2, and it brings us a lot more profit. So that... It's a double-edged sword, right? You'll make more money if you just leave the ads on there. It can possibly cause a higher drawdown in the meantime. So it's all up to you and what you'd like to do there. Now we've got this ad percentage right here as well. Let me show you what that does. To do that, I'll change our contracts here to 2 so that we're trading 2 contracts every time. And let me turn off the ads for a sec. I'll show you. So you're going to see this says +4. And that's expected because remember, we were short 2 contracts coming into this. So we have to buy 4 contracts because we're closing the original 2 short ones, and then we're going long by 2 contracts. So you're always going to see this saying double whatever the amount of contracts are. Okay, so that's why it does that. And we'll click enable ad, and you can see right over here, long add 2 more contracts. So it's going to add whatever you had in. That's because we have 100% ad percentage. We change this to 50%. Now it's only going to add 1 contract. See that? That's how that works. We'll put this back to 100, and we'll put this back to 1 contract. Okay. And now the next part, and this works really well on NQ and MNQ, is this early reversals. And now watch this one right here, where this short enters. Watch what happens when I click this. And you're gonna see it's several bars earlier, huh? And that works really well on NQ and MNQ. Not so much on some other tickers, like ES, it doesn't work that well. YM, it doesn't work that well. But early reversals on MNQ and NQ work quite good. So you click that, it'll get you into trades earlier. And, because of that, it can also cause maybe a little bit higher drawdown, but overall, you get a higher profit. You see our profit jumped up to 6,400 over there. And when you leave the ads on, it really starts to generate a lot of money. And that's over the last several weeks with one contract of NQ. So it does really well. Now, let's look at Desumo Min. We're going to click this and watch what happens to the chart. Okay, a lot different, huh? This is a lot more like what you would expect a normal algorithm to do. It's not in the market all the time. It enters and exits. That's all it does. Enter, exit, enter, exit. So it's just trading the movements of the market without being in all the time. And this is probably more useful for people who want to follow along manually, or you want to pick and choose your trades a little bit, or especially if you're in a prop account or you don't have enough margin to hold overnight. This kind of trade is probably going to work better for you. And it's got a couple of options. Now, when you're in the Desumo Min mode, adding and early reversals have no effect. You'll see that didn't change charts at all. So let's look at the options here. We have enable reversals. Okay, now you're going to notice on some of these we actually have a stop. So you'll see right here it says short stop, right? And let me find a really good example of what this does so you can see it. See how, look at all these shorts in here. Shorten the heck out of that when it fell. Let me see. Okay, so right here we've got this long stop. See that? And what we'll do, we actually got a couple long stops right here. This is perfect. See right here, here. So we'll click enable reversals right there and watch what happens. Now, look at that. So we had our stop, still had our stop, but it reversed and it took that short trade. So it got a little bit of more money out of it. See, instead of just taking the loss, it actually turned that into probably what was a scratch instead of a loss. So we went from, see, this has 5,800 net profit, 2.3 profit factor. We'll drop this and see, we drop a lot of profit and profit factor drops a little bit. So enabling reversals gives us a lot more profit coming out of this. And again, once again, this is looking at the last month on the 1 minute data. So it's pretty dang close. Now we've got another thing here. This is the chop filter. All right, I'm going to show you what the chop is. It's this thing right here, and this is actually built into TradingView. It's the choppiness index. I did not invent this. It was invented by Wilder, I think. I might be wrong. The choppiness index right here. Search for it, click chop right there, and it pops up. Okay. The setting that is going to be interesting to us is the length right here. So we'll have this just set on 14 right there. And what this is going to do is it's going to filter out trades based on that chop. So the choppiness index attempts to find when the market is just going sideways. And when it's just going sideways, it will be above this line, which is 38.2. When it's above 38.2, the markets are mostly going to just be going sideways. When it drops below it, that's when we may actually be getting some trending moves. So we want to kind of cut out stuff that's just chopping sideways. Now, this has mixed results, so use it at your own risk, I guess. But let's see what it does. We'll enable the filter. Okay, you'll see right there, kind of smooths our curve out quite a bit. Smooths it out. We lose some profit, but it is smoother. And you can adjust the length there. So now it adjusted to length 14. That's exactly what we see right here. So when it's above this line, it's not going to open anything. See, right there is where it dropped, and the next bar is where it opened right there. So if it's above that level, it's not going to open anything. So you can use that. It does smooth out this chart quite a bit. And now the last part of Desumo Min, now this does work for Desumo Full as well, is the time frame. Now there's a very important thing to understand about this time frame. And if you're on 1 minute, if you're on NQ with the 3 minute box or the 3 size boxes, as I suggest, this should not generally be an issue, but it can be. You need to be aware of this. And there's a tooltip right here. It's vital that you understand how Renko charts work because they are not time-based. This may not close trades on time. It will prevent new ones from being opened outside your time frame, but it cannot send a close unless a candle happens to form. So because this is not time-based, it may not form a candle at the last few minutes of the day. And if it doesn't, then it won't send a close signal. Okay? So at the end of the day, you need to watch this to make sure that it closes. So now we'll turn these things on. Okay, you can see it dropped our profit a little bit. Profit factors still looks good. Percent profitable went up. So it's looking really nice. It's a really nice curve, actually. See that right there? And now this should be only opening trades during market hours. See right here at the bottom, 0935 to 1545. That's the time string right there. And right here is the syntax for the time string. So it's also working Monday through Friday. I would recommend not messing with this and trying to dial it in. The way this is designed is to just take all of the trades that are there. Don't try to dial things in. If you try to dial this in, it could overfit and it won't work well going forward in forward testing. So I recommend not trying to dial in that time. Just set it and forget it. So let's see here. And now keep in mind also, I am in ETH mode, electronic trading hours. Make sure you're set to electronic trading hours. Do not try to run this in regular trading hours mode. It needs to be an electronic. Okay, so right here, here's our break between the days. You see right here, the day ended right there, 1400 mountains. The day ended right there. And we started again right here, 730 mountains. The day started again right there. It didn't open any trades here in the middle. I started trading again. Let me see if I can find one right there. So end of day close. You can see right here, it closed it at the end of the day. Again, it may not always hit that. I've set it up so that if you're using these settings on NQ, most of the time it will hit that. I don't know why it wouldn't. NQ is going to move at least 3 points in 1 minute at the last 15 minutes of the day. It would be a really weird circumstance if it didn't do that. So yeah, it should. But always keep an eye on it. Always, always, always keep an eye on it, of course. And you may be wondering, why didn't the Desumo Min trade in here? This looks great, right? Obviously a great short. And that's because the Desumo Min only trades stuff that it feels really confident about. Now, I mean, of course, you know, there are losses, right? It doesn't always win, but it only trades things that it feels really confident about. And there was something here that prevented it from opening a trade. So you're not going to catch all these. If you want to catch all of those moves, turn off Min. And right there, boom, you catch the whole thing with the regular Desumo. Okay. And you see the profit curve looks really messed up on this because the full Desumo it does not want you to trade, it wants to trade through the whole trading day, through the night. It's designed to run 24/5, well, 23/5. That's how Desumo is designed to run. So we'll go back to Desumo Min. And so here we are. That's all about it. That's how Min works and how the full Desumo works. Let's go here. This back off. Turn all this off. There we go. And this is back to the way we were before. Hold on, we'll turn ads and early reversals. There we go. So now you'll see if we restrict time frame on full Desumo, it does still make money. It does still make money. It's just it is designed to run throughout the night. So you can see here, it'll still close. You need to make sure And then this is a great opportunity, actually. You can make sure, see how it has multiple bars right here. And this is just an unfortunate side effect of Renko on TradingView. You need to make sure that we're closing early enough that it doesn't get any of those. There we go. And now you see it's gone because it can create multiple bars off of 1 minute. So that's, again, just a unfortunate side effect of Renko and TradingView. So you'll always want to look through here and make sure those are good to go. Now the internal code is set so that it will, this force trades to close before the end of the day, will close at 15:45 EST. So we'll close 15 minutes prior to the end of the day. So maybe you set that to like 15:40, and then it can't open any trades after that. And then you're good to go. It should hit these end of day closes every time. But again, like I say, because of the way Renko works, it may not actually hit it. So you'll need to sit and watch and make sure that it's actually doing it if you're using this. But again, it should on NQ. So that's a little bit about Desumo and how it works. The stock settings out of the box are set up to be used on NQ or MNQ. Set it to 1 minute, set the boxes to traditional right here and box size 3, and then it should work right out of the box. You can come in here, set it up the way that I have it, make sure to have restrict dates turned off, do whatever you'd like for your time frames based on what I showed you. And there you go. That's it. That's all about how you set it up. From there, all you have to do is, once it's all dialed in the way you want it, go here to add alert, and you can come in here and then you add in your webhook information. You'll go to notifications, add in your webhook URL, and then you can send it and automate your trades. And again, you can automate that through Trade Connect. That's at gettradeconnect.com, or you can automate it through any of my custom software solutions that I may have made for you. This one does work with the non-API solutions, but it's a little funky to put together. So I do really recommend running this with an API. So there you go. Thank you.